spending lots of time searching outside of yourself to find happiness, joy, health, and wealth? With each new acquired good or goal reached, are you once again jumping on the gerbil wheel, searching for that next thing to make you happy? The answers we are searching for are actually inside of us, and the connection we are looking for is one with self. Explore these and other self-reflective questions here on Finding the Spark Within. Hosted by Christin Collins, discover how you can connect with your purpose and achieve true happiness, meaning, and well-being. Don't miss tuning in and find the spark within.
Hi guys, Christin Collins with Find the Spark Within, and I am incredibly excited to be hosting not only my beautiful friend, but also a soul sister that I've grown a lot with, Carey Cohill. Carey, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on this fall, beautiful day.
It is so exciting, and I have to admit that's the first time I got to call you Carey Cohill out loud. So congratulations on your recent nuptials to marrying one of my dearest soul brothers and friends, Eric.
Hey, you were the introduction. It was you and God. So thank you for setting us up.
That is such a beautiful way to start a conversation with you, and just the divinity of the universe and how it provides when we get out of the way, which I'm sure is something we're going to dive into today. So thanks for taking the time to connect, and being the theme of Find the Spark Within. Something that our friendship has helped me come into contact with is that inner knowing and that spark. And I'd love to hear from you as we get this conversation started. What has been a catalyst for you to have that spark awakened in you?
Oh, that's a good question. So I've been so open about my journey, almost with darkness of depression and anxiety, that really finding that spark came from doing something that I've done my whole life. I've been passionate about, but I never ever thought it would almost be my career or my purpose. And it was simply cooking. Cooking is my creative art. So some people find that spark within in writing, in singing, in painting. Mine is cooking, because when I am in a kitchen and creating, I know that meal has the potential to bring people together, and that it's that giving. It's my expression of love. So food is something so simple, but it really reignited my light inside.
And yes, it did. And it is so illuminated and inspiring, and to have walked very close to you and watching your transcendence has just been so beautiful. So take a moment and reflect on when I first met you and you first relocated to Florida. You were a very successful professional in the Midwest, and then moved to Florida and did some incredible work in the nonprofit industry. Yet here you are now, truly on point. And something that I hope communicating with, folks that I walk with through this podcast platform is, how do you get in touch with that inner knowing and find the way to transition, to have the courage to transition from maybe what you deemed to be appropriate in the previous chapters to truly living life on point? What was that transition like for you?
It was long. It was long. It was really dark and sad at times. And the best way I know how to explain it is, the second you stop telling yourself, I don't know, because I kept coming from this place of I don't know the answers, I don't have what they have, or I need this, that constant place of lack. The second you just surrender that, or whatever your word is, let it go. And you, whether you call it spirit, God, faith, it doesn't matter. Once you put your faith in a higher power, you can almost feel the guidance. The trick is, though, the guide is going to go where it knows to go, and it may very well take you on a path that doesn't match where you think you're supposed to be going. So you're thinking it's supposed to be this way, and And then the path is going like this. But then all of a sudden you end up where you're like, oh my gosh, I had to go through all that because those lessons, those experiences have now taught me what I am here to teach, because to teach is to learn. So now all my clients and community members I work with, I literally teach that journey that felt like I was going like this, or maybe up and down and up and down. So even though it doesn't make sense, when you feel guided, all I can say is go with it. Don't judge it, and just keep asking for guidance. And when you have that inner peace within, you know you're on the right track.
I am literally freezing. I have chills everywhere. And so I think too, something for me had also been the timing, right? So 100% I'm in alignment. It's, you know, a road like this, and it's all about the journey. It's not about that destination. And we talk about that a lot. Also too, the timing, I'm like, I feel like it should be like this. I feel the inner guidance is leading me towards this. And sometimes it's just that the rest of the collective, it's just not the right time yet. And I know you and I have experienced a lot of starts and stops. And now I just laugh because I'm like, I know, I really feel this is where I'm supposed to be heading. It's just not, either I'm not ready yet or my surroundings aren't ready yet. And just to be patient and enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. And I've really learned, it was a question that actually my now husband asked me on our first date. Actually, it would have been our second if you consider how you introduced us our first date. But he asked me how I define success. And it's such an interesting question to allow yourself ponder, because generally a lot of us say, you know, financial freedom and health and happy family. And really, if you allow yourself, even if you just challenge yourself for one day to measure your success only by your inner peace, you will be blown away at what you focus on versus all the other distractions that we allow ourselves to go down. And so if the true success in life is just measured by your inner peace, the guidance becomes really clear. And then you can almost laugh at other things that used to make you crazy or used to make you be filled with doubt and worry, like those thoughts that all of a sudden come at like 4 a.m. when the world is sleeping. But yeah, if you can measure success just by your inner peace, the guidance becomes clear.
Oh, that is so profound and beautiful. And I think needs to be the title of this connection with you. So I want to take folks through some of your offerings. Part of the work I'm trying to do now, as you've walked very intimately with me on my path, is to dive deeper into tools that colleagues, friends, spiritual sisters, brothers offer. And I want to get there. But before we go to what your offerings are, I would love for you to highlight one or two tools, techniques, books, guides that you used on your path to bring you to where you are today. Can you offer up one or two tools that were really impactful in your journey?
Yes. So one of them may seem incredibly, to some, almost basic because it was mainstream, but it's very authentic and real in my journey. My journey started the day I watched on, I believe, Netflix, and The Secret. And that, I believe, came out in 2006. Don't quote me, I don't know, but I watched it in 2016. So I'm 10 years, behind the curve. And when I watched it, it was the first time I had ever even heard the concept that nothing is happening to me. It's all happening for me. And what I think creates my reality. And I just got the goosebumps again thinking about it, because I'm like, wait, what? I watched that film, and I believe there's a book too, but I watched the film 10 times easily. Then I went through my phone and followed all the instructors on social media. And I will say, what you put out there on social media can have a profound effect, even if it's just one person following you. And I followed them, and the teachers that I resonated with, I bought their books, and I read so many of their work, and it really led me. I felt like I was almost climbing a ladder. So I would say The Secret kind of launch pad into this world of guidance and spirituality. And I was raised very strict Catholic, and I had sworn off religion when I turned 18 because I I already thought I was going to hell. So I'm like, well, I might as well just live life. So there was a really big disconnect between spirituality and religion for me. That's maybe another podcast. So The Secret, great launch pad, highly recommend it if you haven't watched it, or if you watched it back in '06, watch it again, and just the information might seem totally like new to you. And then another one is A Course in Miracles. That is a book, a tool, a resource. When I can't sleep at night, I will turn on A Course in Miracles on YouTube. So thank you, YouTube. It instantly calms me down. There's a whole year's lessons you can go through it. The book is this big, so don't be intimidated. It's not a book that you just read and you're like, oh, I'm done. It's a constant tool that you go back to. And so I would say those two really provided me a lot of certainty in my life and peace.
And The Secret, it wasn't '06, but it wasn't 16 for me. I'm not sure when it was, but it was somewhere in that 10-year period. And I too was deeply moved by that concept. And I had challenges with this whole positive affirmation thing, also was a resonation. And I just felt like a fraud. I am healthy. I am at my ideal body weight. And I'm like, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? So wrapping my head around that concept of like what you put out there is what you see and what you attract. That has been a huge journey. And I think The Secret's a great tool. With A Course in Miracles, you just taught me something. I did not know that I could access that on YouTube. So thank you.
Yeah.
I have mad respect for your work with Course in Miracles, because I was around you as you went through that, literally. And it was like watching, this transformation occur before, and I bought the darn thing, and I tried, and it is, I'm like, Carey, you have a PhD that I do not have. It was really, I was unsuccessful in the written form. So that's a great tool to understand that it's also on YouTube. And I think you brought that back into my space. And I thank you for that. So now.
I was just going to say, there's one more thing. If A Course in Miracles you do feel is been coming into your circle, there's a reason why. And I highly recommend it. I apologize, I forgot this one. I would purchase The Disappearance of the Universe. Once I started reading A Course in Miracles, and I said, I did not understand what it was talking about. And I had such resistance because, once again, religion and spirituality. And I was like, I don't need another God book. I don't need and so when I read The Disappearance of the Universe, and then I went back and read A Course in Miracles, all of a sudden it wasn't that the words changed. My resistance wasn't there anymore, or it was a lot less. So the words, I was like, oh, I actually can feel now what this is saying. So I do recommend, if you are going to do A Course in Miracles, The Disappearance of the Universe is a great book to read prior.
Thank you. And I don't know if I own that or if I have read it, but that title is familiar. And so thanks for bringing that back into space as well. So I'll check out my big old collection and find out if I have read it and need to reread that. So thank you.
Yes.
So take us back. I know you and I were both going through so much of the similar journey of that deep introspection, and huge growth spurt. And yes, it was long for both of us. Ours was a very deep and long journey that we walked together. But I got to watch you physically, literally, emotionally, spiritually, mentally transform and transcend right before my eyes. And, having a partner and a friend to do that with, it was so impactful. Did you feel that how did you create space? How did you experience that transition? That is so hard for so many people. And, what words can we express that would help guide people as they're going through their transcendence, to be able to support their journey as far as community relationships, family, not being in alignment with people you used to be in alignment with, maybe? Talk a little bit about that for me.
The best advice and the easiest way I know how to explain this is, it's your journey, it's your work. And so don't go around and try to convince everybody what they're doing is wrong and that you have the answers over here. That is in anything in life, whether it's money, it's food, it's spirituality. The second you try to judge others and try to bring them with you, it becomes a nightmare for all parties involved. So I can remember starting this journey. Once again, it started with The Secret. And I happened to have, I did not go seek out, there's probably someone right in your inner circle. I have two amazing friends, and one of them I watched The Secret with, and the other one, we were like, oh my gosh, have you heard of this movie? You have to watch it. And from that day forward, we started, so that was in January of 2016. And now we have, every morning we meet. That's why we had to have this podcast at this specific time, because I am very true to this hour I hold space for. We read together every day. And so my message there is not that you need to start a reading group, but allow yourself to have the conversations and the connections with people that naturally are there. And people that aren't ready to be there, there is no shame in anybody's game, and don't force it, because now you're just judging. You're doing the exact thing you don't want to do. You're not making space for peace and love. So I guarantee there's somebody just much like me and you, Christin, that's right there on your journey. And sometimes you can share like, hey, have you ever heard of The Secret? And just watch kind of who lights up and then who takes action, and then allow yourself, to hold conversations with people that are ready to have those conversations.
This is one of the biggest lessons that I learned. And I know you were blessed to also experience Julie Pyatt and some of her work. And whenever she's such a strong goddess, right? And whenever I understood that message of, she released her judgment of what her husband should be doing. And that's when her husband blossomed into being Rich Roll. And I was so moved by it, rocked my entire existence, because I was so busy thinking everyone had to see what I saw. And that was just naivety, because I was so passionate and excited, and what worked for me, therefore obviously should work for you. And you should be ready for it, because all of a sudden I am. And wow, how freeing, especially physically, right? I was no longer stressed out because you're not listening to me. So thank you for reminding us all of that. So here we are, fast forward into a new chapter for you, and leaving the nonprofit world, and finally saying, I'm going to go out there and be me, and I'm going to go do what it is I'm being called to do. And that you are. Yep. And you're helping so many people, and you move 6 hours away into a new home, in this beautiful new marriage. You have a whole new existence blossoming at this time. So what is your day like? What are you stepping into? What are ways that folks can connect and learn and grow from your incredible, incredible offerings?
Well, great question. So my current offerings that I work daily on are all around food. So I teach plant-based cooking classes, is the easiest way to describe what I do on a daily basis. I run a community called the Plant Over Process Challenge, and successfully now we had our first 20 individuals go through the program. Our second one is launching here shortly. Why I'm so passionate once again about food is just the tool to me that leads to connection and freedom. So for you, it could be something else, whatever your business is in, or whatever a career path you have. So food to me always equals connection, freedom, love. So if I can teach even one person about what they're using to fuel their body and how that can allow them just to feel free inside, because food does impact our mood. And then that's going to lead to greater connection, love, and truly happiness throughout life. So I love running my 10-day challenge. And from there, we actually have a VIP group that is a monthly membership where we connect, and we do everything from cook together, share recipes. We have monthly wellness challenges. And it has been so amazing to watch something that I truly am so passionate about, but yet healed me, and watch other people do it and how they're just sharing with their family. There's no, we're all going on a diet. They're literally sharing and watching their energy increase, their lights start to shine brighter. And, another benefit is they're watching their waistlines, and the scale go down. So it's, I love those two things. Those are really the current focuses. I realized when I have 25 different focuses going on, I can't nearly give enough attention. So those are the two that I'm really honing in on and welcoming several new members.
Well, we'll be sure to make sure that we include ways to connect with that in the show notes. Yeah. And also, too, you have done such a beautiful job just putting out content socially to help inspire people. So folks can also connect with you through social media. And I'll make sure, again, that we have that in there.
Yeah.
So knowing that you and I both started our physical transformation through food, right? One of the things I'm most attracted to about your work is how food is the tool or the vehicle, but it's really so much deeper than that. And it goes in alignment with when I talk about when we're willing our way through life, we're so mentally strong. So we're making all of these mental decisions. I have to eat this and, this many ounces and this many calories. And it becomes this psychotic mental exercise to consumption, where when you are actually at peace and on point, right, and you're released and you're in flow, then your default of what you fuel your body with is so much more in alignment with what's going to bring you joy, peace, love, happiness, nutrition. And I think your work is such a wonderful representation of taking people through that process. Because you talk to someone who's living the standard American diet and probably, on their way, if not already, heading towards a chronic disease. And you say, oh, well, if you eat from the inside because you're whole and satiated and you are love, they're going to look at you like you're So, again, take us through a little bit of that, shedding light on in your challenges. How do you walk someone from this is literally what you should eat to the blossoming of why you want to bless your body with that joy?
So the easiest way I do that, and I just love that example that you shared earlier about that being satiated. So the easiest way is I do it through my story. I'm always very honest and transparent of who I am in this space. I'm somebody who loves food because I'm very passionate about creating recipes, especially plant-based recipes. So I never pretend to be your doctor, your dietitian, your nutritionist, but I did lose over 40 pounds. I've easily kept it off for the last 5 years. I haven't done the plant-based diet perfectly, but I have done it well. And so I rely on my story. And when I share my story in combination with real facts that I learned from one of my favorite free resources, which is nutritionfacts.org, very easy and accessible. And then when I cook during our challenges, so if you do one of my challenges, they're an hour long for 10 days, and I cook live with you. And I will show you that beautiful plate of food that I show you on Instagram, you can do too. And there is not one thing that I will teach that's not from start to finish. I don't show you in stages. I will show you live. And by the end of it, you see the dish, you see how I plate it. And 100% of the last group that went through the challenge said that was the biggest thing that got them cooking, because they watched truly how easy it is. It's swapping out a few ingredients. It's combining flavors in maybe a different way than they have, or using different products. And then boom, it's all, I don't think I cook anything that takes over 30 minutes to cook. I'm not that patient when it comes to food.
Well, and your food is always delicious. And I mean, when we lived in the same town, I always was seeking you out, like, hey, can you cater this? Hey, can you provide this? Because you take such a natural approach to food, and it's approachable, attainable, affordable. It's real, and it's real food, right? And it's very filling. And so I love connecting with you always, but I especially love to connect with you when you're cooking. So.
I always love recipe testers.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely do that virtually. So, as we wrap up our conversation today, unfortunately, a full half hour is come and gone. Again, I want to land our conversation with reflecting holistically at your journey to finding that spark within. And as a collective, culturally around the world and what we've all been through in the past almost 2 years, it's been a lot of shifting going on, and that could be deemed as negative or positive depending on the lens. But I think what the pandemic has taught a lot of us is what is important in life and who we want to be, and that we don't have to be who we were yesterday or when we woke up this morning, that we can choose to be anyone we want to in any given moment. So as you're looking into your future and casting that vision, what is your hope for humanity and mankind as far as your work and your offering and what you hope to be able to provide and support in the next 1, 3, 5 years?
That's a really good question, because for all of humanity, I would say my biggest hope is going through it. I think feeling alone in your own journey, especially when your journey doesn't make sense, is one of the scariest. So that feeling of loneliness and despair is absolutely, I don't know of a worse feeling. And so what I hope to inspire through my food, through my writings, through my videos and challenges is a place of connection, belonging, and love. And for me, I'm so passionate in teaching that through food, because what is something we all do every day is we eat. We understand what eating is. And if I can teach you how to make an amazing meal where not only you're nourishing your body, but it's allowing you to connect with your family and friends in meaningful ways. Because one of the things I've always noticed, and it's been a privilege of mine growing up, when we have big family functions, if you ever look at what's on the table, or even at work functions, you'll see a lot of donuts, or a lot of them heavy macaroni and cheese. And look at with the holidays, look at what we serve our closest people that we love. If I can just help you transform dishes that will still create that community, that is my biggest passion, because I know that internally you're naturally going to feel better, and you're going to want more, not just more food, but more connection and love, but food that won't also make you feel like you need to take a nap right afterwards.
I'm so thankful for that answer. And another thing that you have inspired is the fact that sitting in the discomfort of the loneliness, right? Mm-hmm. What many of us distract or dissociate from that. We don't want to feel that feeling, right? So we consume, we take on a distractive behavior so that we don't have to feel uncomfortable. And so you just talked about sitting in that loneliness and then hosting community. And so we're not rushing out of that space of loneliness in an unhealthy way, but we're actually to sit in the discomfort in community and understand that this feeling is appropriate, because right now you are doing some deep inner work and you are getting in touch with who you are, and you're healing, potentially from things that have been brought into this moment. And by not consuming unhealthy food or too much food, or not being present when consuming food, and you holding space to hold people's hands in the discomfort, is by far the most beautiful gift you can give humanity. So thank you.
I agree. Thank you.
Well, Carey, as always, you illuminate my heart with joy. I am so honored and blessed to call you friend, and Eric, and give him a kiss. I look forward to your continued journey. I hope that folks that hear this content, that it speaks to them and they're able to plug into your incredible work, and keep shining bright, sister. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. And back at you, and keep doing this amazing work to get messages out, because we all have our points where something clicks and you're like, that's what I was looking for. So I hope my story, my journey has resonated with somebody that will help them feel less alone in that spot they may be feeling today.
Amen. Love you, sister.
Love you too. Have a great day. Happy fall.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
You have just listened to another episode of Finding the Spark Within with Christin Collins. If you found our content valuable, visit us at christincollins.com/podcast, where you can find more episodes and amazing content. Connect with your purpose and discover ultimate joy. Join us again next time here on Finding the Spark Within.